Do you know how secure your apps are? In our increasingly connected world, this question is more relevant than ever. App vulnerabilities, essentially weaknesses or flaws in an application's design or coding, pose a serious threat to our digital security. They can provide gateways for cybercriminals to exploit, leading to unwanted access, data breaches, or even identity theft. We'll be exploring 3 such vulnerabilities today: cross-site scripting, or XSS, cross-site request forgery, otherwise known as CSRF, and the lesser-known but equally insidious clickjacking. Each of these vulnerabilities presents its own unique set of challenges and potential dangers. Understanding them can help us not only to protect our personal and financial information, but also to create a safer digital environment for everyone. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it's also the key to securing our digital future. Stay tuned as we dive deep into these vulnerabilities and make you aware of the potential threats lurking in your apps. First on our list is cross-site scripting, often abbreviated as XSS. Now you might be wondering, what is this complicated-sounding term? Well, in its simplest form, XSS is a type of security vulnerability that allows attackers to inject malicious scripts into web pages viewed by other users. Let's picture it like this. Imagine you're at a party and you trust everyone there. Suddenly, someone you didn't invite sneaks in and starts whispering lies and rumors. That's essentially what XSS does. It sneaks malicious scripts into websites that you trust and browse regularly. These scripts, once injected, can perform a range of actions. They can steal your sensitive data such as login credentials or credit card information without you even noticing. Imagine the intruder at the party stealing your wallet without you realizing. That's the danger of XSS. Now let's dig a little deeper. There are 3 types of XSS: stored, reflected, and DOM-based. Stored XSS is when the malicious script is permanently stored on the target server. Imagine the unwanted party guest moving in permanently. Reflected XSS, on the other hand, occurs when the malicious script is reflected off the web server, like a rogue echo bouncing back at you. And finally, DOM-based XSS happens when the vulnerability exists in the client-side script. Each type presents its unique threats and challenges. But the common factor here is that they all exploit the trust you have in a website, turning your safe haven into a danger zone. Remember, these scripts can be incredibly sneaky. They can act like invisible thieves, silently stealing your data without leaving a trace. This makes them incredibly hard to detect and even harder to prevent. But don't let this scare you. With the right knowledge and tools, you can defend yourself against these threats. Always remember to keep your software updated, be wary of suspicious links, and regularly monitor your accounts for any unusual activity. This is why it's crucial to be vigilant about XSS vulnerabilities in your apps. When it comes to cybersecurity, knowledge is your best defense. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and always be on the lookout for potential threats. The digital world can be a dangerous place, but with the right information, you can navigate it safely. Next, we have cross-site request forgery, or CSRF for short. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting at home, relaxing, when suddenly you receive a notification that a large sum of money has been transferred from your bank account. But you didn't authorize this transaction. You're a victim of fraud, but instead of a shady character with a ski mask and a gun, the criminal in this case is a hacker who has exploited a vulnerability in your bank's web application. This, in essence, is how a CSRF attack works. It tricks the victim, in this case you, into submitting a malicious request. It inherits the identity and privileges of the victim to perform an undesired function on their behalf. For most sites, browser requests automatically include any credentials associated with the site, such as the user's session cookie, IP address, or other identifying information. Therefore, if the user is authenticated to the site cannot distinguish between legitimate requests and forged requests. So how does this apply in the real world? Let's say you're logged into your bank's website, and while you're still logged in, you navigate to a different site that has been compromised. This compromised site contains a malicious script that sends a request to your bank's website, instructing it to transfer money. Your bank's website can't tell the difference between this request and a legitimate one, so it complies, transferring your money without your knowledge or consent. That's the danger of CSRF attacks. They can lead to unauthorized actions on a web application, actions that can have serious consequences. CSRF is not a flashy attack. It doesn't cause your computer to crash or your screen to fill with pop-ups, but it is insidious, quietly undermining the security of your applications and data. As you can see, CSRF is another hidden danger that can compromise the security of your apps. Finally, let's examine clickjacking. This is a deceptive technique that can be likened to a digital sleight of hand, where an attacker tricks you into clicking something different from what you perceive. Sounds like a magic trick, right? But it's not the kind you'd enjoy. This could lead to revealing confidential information or even taking control of your computer. Imagine thinking you're clicking on a harmless link or a button, but in reality, you're interacting with an invisible layer that the attacker has cleverly placed over the legitimate content. This could be a disguised link, a hidden form, or a concealed button. The moment you click, you're playing right into the attacker's hands, providing them with access to your personal data or enabling them to execute unauthorized actions. It's a crafty manipulation of trust and perception, and a stark reminder of how even the most straightforward actions can be exploited by those with malicious intent. Remember, a seemingly harmless click could be a potential clickjacking threat. So, we have covered XSS, CSRF, and clickjacking, 3 major vulnerabilities your apps may have. Let's take a quick stroll down memory lane. Cross-site scripting, or XSS, involves injecting malicious scripts into web pages viewed by other users. This can lead to a whole host of problems, from stealing confidential data to controlling a user's interaction with the website. Next up, we dove into cross-site request forgery, CSRF for short. This vulnerability tricks the victim into submitting a malicious request. It masquerades as a legitimate request, resulting in unwanted actions performed on behalf of the user. Last but not least, clickjacking. This crafty technique manipulates users into clicking on something different than what they perceive, often leading to confidential information falling into the wrong hands. These 3 threats underscore the importance of staying vigilant and up to date with the latest in cybersecurity. By understanding these vulnerabilities, you can take steps to mitigate them, securing your apps and data. In the world of cybersecurity, awareness is your first line of defense. Stay informed, stay safe.